So when I start an outline drawing in art, a lot of times I find it's easier to start with the stuff that's in front and then work my way back when I'm doing pencil with those. So just because I'm going to start with the cube right here on that one. So we're going to draw a cube, and I'm looking at it, and it looks like the front part, I'm looking here, is maybe a third of the way in, right? So if I go maybe a third of the way in, and I put myself a vertical line right in through here, and it goes down, it's pretty close to the bottom. So I'm just going to try and put a vertical line in like that. The height of it here's about halfway, so this got to be shorter than halfway on that one. This might be a little high. Let's take my eraser. Now, as I said, gesso, you can erase a little bit on gesso. It does put some little bit of oils on there from my eraser. Your eraser may not have that thing there. But there's my front line, this one right here. I'm going to put this next line is going to be this diagonal. I'm going to slide this down so we can kind of see what's going on with those. And so these diagonals right here, this diagonal like here is going back up this way to a vanishing point that's way off in the distance. So I'm trying to draw a line like this that's parallel with this line. So this line, and this line are parallel. And this comes about this far. That looks pretty good. I'm liking that. And so let's do this. Now let's make this bottom one. These two lines here are parallel, mostly parallel. They actually be just a little bit sharper like that. Then I need to decide how deep it's going to be, and then I'm going to put another vertical line here. Vertical line. And if it's a little long, I can come in with my eraser and do some erasing. If you need a pencil, I do have pencils up in the front of the room, by the way. Okay, now this next line is going this way. So I look here, I make the mark, I look here, I make the mark here, kind of guessing. Look here. You maybe get on top of it a little bit more so I can look down and make sure that this line and this line are parallel. Looks like mine's a little sharper there. I'm going to pull it back a little bit. We don't want it that sharp. I'm going to move the thingy here a little bit to the side. Like that. Ooh, that's a good one. And then this line and this bottom line are also somewhat parallel. That means going in the same direction. Like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put a vertical line. So these three lines are going to be the same. So I need a vertical line here. I'm going to make this thing about this deep. And the depth I'm going to leave up to you. And so this is extra. This was my extra 2. And an eraser, like I said, you can erase pencil off of gesso a lot of times, which is really cool. That's what makes it work really well. Okay, now the back side of this one here, this back line here, all these 3 lines are all going the same direction. So this one here is parallel to this one, which is parallel to this one. So all those are the same. Like that. Rotate it this way. This one, and this one are all the same direction. That, and that. I start from the corner here, and where it intersects in the back is the back. So that line, and that line are parallel. This line, and this line are parallel. This line, and this line, and this, they're parallel. Everything's parallel in sets of 3s. This is extra. But so now I have the outline drawing of my cube, you know, and ready to start putting my values in there. Like that. Okay. The next piece I want to do is I want to do this circle. Now, how tall is it? It's not quite as tall as this back portion, so I'm going to say that the circle is about this tall. And I'm going to put it right in the middle there, so it's going to be about that tall. And it doesn't go quite down to the bottom as far as that one goes, so I'm going to say that it's this short. Now, if I was a tricky man and I had a roll of tape sitting somewhere near me, I could take that roll of tape and find wow, that's about the right size, Mr. White. But if I don't have a tricky roll of tape on here, and I'm trying to make a circle of some sort, I might kind of map it out a little bit, you know. Say, well, the side should be about here. This distance is that. Then maybe put some lines in between like this. and kind of build up my circle little bit by little bit. Maybe this needs to go out just a little further. And so then I could connect the dots, right? So I make those. And so now when I make my circle, I'm doing this little connect the dot thing. And then I could have a circle. That's a pretty accurate circle, I guess, if you want to do it. Here's a rumor. It's nothing more than a rumor because I don't know if it's true or not. That in the Renaissance, when you were testing to become, trying to pass off that you were a master painter, right? What they would do is they'd have you come up and then they'd have you freehand draw a perfect circle. And if you could draw a perfect circle, then you could be a painting master. Now, that's probably a lie. But it sounds like it should be true because I've tried to draw circles before, and man, they're tough. That'll work for me. Okay, so now I have my circle. Okay, my circle's there. Remember, you can do this technique too. Right? Whee! And then you got your circle. Those templates are always good. All right, it's cruised along pretty good with the outline drawing. The next step is I need to draw the cylinder that I have over here. Let's move this to the side so I can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm set it right here. Now, the top of the cylinder, that's what I'm going to work with. First, let's figure out how wide it is, shall we? It looks like it's going to cover up some of this. So there's a vertical line that's going here, and it's going up in that direction. And then it covers up a little bit, maybe a third of the circle. So let's say right there. And so there's a vertical line that's going up here too. And so that's kind of a helpful thing. That gives us our width, right? So that we can draw this thing. But the rest is kind of covered up. Like that. So I got the two vertical lines. Now I need to draw a squished circle that's this wide. And let's say that it's coming down. And let's draw this part first. It does kind of like that, and then it circles over. Then it has another arc on the back side like that. And so it's a squished circle. That's what an oval is a squished out circle. Now, the bottom of the cylinder down here, right, it's down here. It looks like it's like maybe right here. It's the same curve as the top. It's not flat. This should have this curve right here. That curve should be right here as well. Okay, a slight curve. Ha! I did it. This needs to be a little taller and a little wider. Just like that. So now I have my cylinder and I have my cube and I have my sphere. Except they don't look as three-dimensional. We've done some lines to make them three-dimensional. Now we need to put in the values. Let's do one other thing first. Remember that palette thing that you had right here, this little guy like that? It's 12 inches long. And I'm thinking, there is a background and end of the table thing right here. And I'm looking about how high up it is on the cube. And so I'm saying it's right here. But here's the deal. It should really be based on the cylinder back here because it's sitting on the table. So I'm saying if I had an oval that was back here like this, it'd be about that high. And so I want that to be a little bit under that. So I'm going to put mine right here. It's a little higher than what's on this particular thing, right? My line that goes back behind. But I want to leave room for, leave room for the cylinder to sit on the table. If I put it right down here like this, then my cylinder would be hanging off the table. Does that make sense? I see a lot of blank faces. That means I'm doing a good job. People are totally confused. Okay. So that's the back line. We do have that in here because I do want you to paint this area eventually. I will give you the shortcut on this one. We don't have to do the values on this. We can go straight for the color on it rather than shading in the whole background and the whole foreground thing. I'll cut you some slack on that. I do want you to shade the objects though. I want you to put the values in for those on what it is we're doing, and so that's kind of a deal. All right. So I can set that up here, and it's value time. Happy value time. I have another pencil I'm going to use. Got to sharpen it up real quick. Sharpen my pencil. And you can start your values wherever you want on whatever thing you're trying to do. You can do your values. Let me go ahead and stop this guy for a moment.